Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 11 of Bank to the Future Live. As always, we've got a very packed show. We have Famida moderating rather, and operating. So if you have any issues or you can't hear me right now, please do let Famida know. She's going to be checking out the chat and she'll interrupt me with anything. As always, please do ask your questions. We rely upon your questions to make this show what it is so that we cover exactly what you're looking for. And you can ask those at any time. But firstly, I'm going to go through several updates. For those of you that are new to the show, welcome. If you know me, you know I give a lot of content on crypto and the markets in general. Been doing that ever since about 2010. But this show is dedicated just for Bank to the Future investors or people that are looking to engage with the BnkToTheFuture.com community by either investing in a portfolio of companies through BnkToTheFuture.com, or maybe you're one of our token holders and want to understand some of the benefits of the Bank to the Future token, or maybe you're involved in the security token ecosystem and you're a BF wallet user and you're just a general investor looking to find out more about how you can get exposure to the growth of the crypto and financial technology sector. Just before I jump in, we've got plenty of things we want to cover. I'll just give you a brief overview of some of the things. In this episode, I want to cover some of the portfolio updates like we do every week from some of our companies. And we've got about 3 or 4 we'd like to update you on. We also want to give a special first broadcasting of a video that we've created for the BF wallet for security tokens that we're going to be looking at releasing, and we'd love your feedback on before we release it out to the wider crypto sphere. We also want to give an update on our policy and some new decisions that the team has made on how we're actually going to roll out more listings for the secondary market and the different types of secondary market listings that we're going to be doing once these we come out of beta and these features are live. Also, we're going to go through just some new roadmap communication plans that the team are working on right now so that we can actually have a better relationship with you in terms of helping us figure out what you would like to see next on the platform rather than us always deciding what comes next. And we're going to share all of those updates, also new pitches, new listings, and all the usual stuff. So just before I jump into the content, please do like this video, share this video with anybody you think is interested in building a portfolio in the cryptocurrency sector, and do that because it helps us get more people that actually can see this content by the Google algorithms. And also remember to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any episodes of Bank to the Future Live. And underneath the subscribe button, right next to it is a bell symbol. When you click that bell symbol, it means YouTube will email you every single time we go live or upload a new video. So not too many changes on the public pitches side on Bank to the Future since last week on the last broadcast. We're currently working with a number of companies that are ready to go live, but we're just completing and signing the final parts of the due diligence on those before we actually put them live. But at the moment, you still got Phase live at the moment, who is about to not announce their lead investor, who has just made an investment, a known investor in the crypto angel investing industry. And also we got pitches that are ready to go live. We're just signing off on the due diligence for AirTM, which is gives a US dollar account to all in emerging markets using the power of crypto, with a particular focus on Venezuela, where they have a lot of traffic. We've also got BTR exchange, which is the largest ATM network, broker network, and exchange broker in Romania that is expanding to Canada, which is particularly interesting in light of some of the challenges that Canada has experienced with Quadriga, one of the largest exchange that recently went down in a controversy. What else have we also got? We've got Phase, which is already live. For those of you that are priority access members of BnkToTheFuture.com, you will know that you have a very rare opportunity to invest in Ripple Labs, the company, through one of our secondary trades before it goes live for trading on the secondary market. We just closed the Coinbase deal. And if you go to the trade page, I'm just going to quickly share my screen to give you a quick demo. Just going to pull up the page before I share it with you. But let me just quickly share my screen so you can see what I'm referring to. Hopefully you'll see me disappearing, and Famida will let me know if there's an issue. We'll see on my screen. But here you're on the Bank to the Future page. That's the mobile view. If you go to the invest page, that's where you see all new deals that are open to all investors, except for any countries that might be restricted due to regulatory reasons. And there you can see the phase. But if you're a priority access member, then you will also have access to additional deals that we will email out to you. And we've got several of those that will be emailing out in the next couple of weeks. But you'll also notice that in beta, when you go to the trade page, sorry, it's a little bit slow because I'm doing this at the same time as streaming. You will notice that we originally only had Bitfinex on there. And Bitfinex SPV, the way that it actually works is that you are actually trading shares in a very special company that's set up, and every share in the company is backed by one share in the cryptocurrency exchange Bitfinex, which is one of the leading exchanges in the industry. And we've just added Circle to that as well. So this is the Circle SPV. And the Circle SPV is backed, every share in the special company is backed by one share in Circle. And for those of you who are not familiar with Circle, Circle is one of the leading brands in the cryptocurrency industry. They run Circle Invest, Circle Pay. They recently acquired Poloniex, one of the first crypto-to-crypto exchanges in the industry, and also Seed Invest, an online investment platform, crowdfunding platform as well, is now owned by that. So you can go there, and we haven't announced this really. It's just been launched onto that. And you can place right now, because we haven't actually promoted this or told anyone about it yet, when we click on the trade page, it will ask you to log in and you'll need to do your verification and certification. But once you can see all those trades, you'll be able to place at this stage a very cheap bid to get Circle SPV equity at a significant discount until the actual trades actually build up and it starts normalizing more to its current price. Circle have announced that they're currently doing a $250 million raise at the moment, and so you might get your opportunity via our SPV to get some of those shares at a discount to the actual valuation of the institutional round. So some people do get better deals than the institutional round because they're coming via one of our special companies. So that's there. I'm just going to take a quick water break. Okay, I want to keep my voice fresh, and let's look at some of the other announcements just before I do that. So those are the new pitches. Also, some of the portfolio company updates before we start going through your questions. You'll notice here, one of our portfolio companies, and you may not be too familiar with them, they're mainly focused on the business-to-business side, creating blockchain-based loyalty schemes for large companies, but they've just announced that they're bringing on the former CEO of Holiday Inn has joined the board of Loyal, and Loyal has done a couple of rounds through the Bank to the Future platform, and they're doing a lot in the business-to-business space around loyalty schemes and blockchains. So congratulations to the Loyal team. It's part of a general trend. We seem to see more and more high-level CEOs of large companies that are getting very bored in their roles and heading over to the new innovative Bitcoin and blockchain and crypto sector, where despite the fact that we're in a bear market, and again, we had a bit of a sketchy market this week, it still is attracting record levels of attention and interest, and still managing to take some of the most, some corporates over to the industry. So congratulations to Loyal. Also, Abra, one of our portfolio companies, they just went live with trading of ETFs and stocks, all collateralized by Bitcoin. So I think this is a fascinating new use case of Bitcoin. whereby they've got a very complex structure, but the CEO, Bill Barbright, has actually created incredibly interesting technology over the years, whereby you can trade and you can gain exposure to some of the more liquid stocks like Apple or Tesla or any of those companies. But it's actually constructed through a synthetic swap. I know that's a very geeky term for those finance geeks out there. But essentially, it just allows you to bet and gain exposure on stocks and exchange traded funds. But they're all collateralized by Bitcoin, and there's a swap contract in the background. You don't need to know all that, but there's some really interesting technology that the Abra team have developed. And this does a couple of things. Firstly, it creates a new use case for Bitcoin, which is collateralizing, acting as collateral for lots of different products, which I think is going to be a major case. If any of you have read the book, The Bitcoin Standard, where Saifedean Ammous makes the case that in the future, Bitcoin will become a standard for central banks and financial institutions all around the world to hold as reserve assets. We're seeing here that some of the first use cases in terms of using Bitcoin for collateralized products and a whole financial market that's developing over that. You may have seen recently one of the companies, BlockFi, has been actually using Bitcoin and Ethereum and crypto as collateral, allowing people to actually put their crypto up as collateral and allowing them to gain access to US dollar loans. And so Bitcoin is becoming this reserve asset class, firstly reserved to lots of different cryptocurrencies through some of our crypto to crypto exchanges and fiat to crypto exchanges. Now Abra is taking traditional liquid assets and collateralizing them using Bitcoin. And we're also getting the first wave of debt and collateralized loans that are using Bitcoin as collateral, as it's drawing more and more equity-based savings into the industry, and traditional products are kind of catching up with that. Also, another update, this one's a bit of a controversial one. We know that we get much feedback from our investors. Some of our companies, our investors are very happy with their performance, but we also do get companies where the investors are just not happy with their performance. And one of those companies, we do want to address it, is K.im. K.im is a service which was launched with Kim.com as the evangelist, with some of the teams that created Mega Upload, which was a service used at one point by 4% of the internet and hundreds of millions of users. But for 2.5 years, they've been working on the technology, and we've had to go into some kind of restructuring and supporting the team. So one of the big major reasons that a great venture capitalist investor will help their portfolio companies when they reach times of trouble. Well, the team at K.im have gone through several technical challenges in releasing their product, and it's cost them a lot of time. And so we've come in and we've been trying to support the team and help them get through their challenges. To give you a little bit of background, originally, K.im was launched as a content sharing platform and allowing people to monetize their content using cryptocurrency in order to do microtransactions. It was a little bit ahead of its time because, as we all know, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin started going through some scaling issues, and therefore the fees started to go through and increase. And so the original vision was to build all this on top of Bitcoin. But Bitcoin had its scaling challenges and its technical challenges, and therefore they had to start rethinking the product, which cost them a lot of time. And so they started rethinking it around whether they could do it on Ethereum, and they invested a lot of time working on Ethereum. They were also going to do a token sale until the regulatory landscape actually changed, and then they had to rebuild again. And so this has caused several delays that have upset some of the investors. At that time, they also started to explore things like whether they could do it on Bitcoin Cash because they had bigger blocks, but they weren't quite happy with the solution. But what I'm really happy to announce at this stage is that we have now been working with the team to really try and help them get over the finish line because the communication has not been good with investors either during these technical challenges. So we've been trying to introduce new members to the team that can help with those communications. And we're at the final stages of hopefully them introducing some new team members to help with that. But secondly, we've managed to give them a bit of a breakthrough by introducing them to the Blockstream team. And now, thanks to new technology that the Blockstream team have developed, they think that there is a very great path forward for them to take all the technology that they built over the past couple of years and do an integration. They've already done an integration with Bitcoin and the Lightning network, but now Lightning is starting to get real traction and actually started to get somewhere. Still very early days for Lightning as a scaling solution for Bitcoin, but it was one of the technological breakthroughs that they needed, and now the technology is in a place where they can accept Bitcoin and Lightning payments, and they've integrated that into the beta backend. But there was a few bits of technology pieces and breakthroughs that were needed to try and get them to the next stage. So we've introduced them to the Blockstream team, and they're looking at how Liquid actually solves the final piece that allows them to integrate and get their beta product out there, out of beta and into production. And they're going to be releasing a video soon, they've promised us, of demonstrating the back end, but also they built a front end demo and what they need to do and the final technological integrations that they need to make in order to plug the front end into the back end and then have a content monetization solution with Kim.com as evangelist that will also be able to accept a token, Bitcoin and Lightning. And so after these 2.5 years, it's all really gone full circle. I know there's a lot of frustrated investors out there that wanted to see this a lot sooner, including ourselves as one of the largest investors in the company. But I think as good venture capitalists do, when a company goes through challenges, they try and see how they can support that. And I'm hoping now that the support that we've given is going to allow them to get over the finish line, get that product out there, so that the large traffic that Kim.com as evangelist is actually able to access, can actually start to use this technology. And really the blessing in disguise we're hoping is that at the end of this, they would actually be in line with their original vision, and they wouldn't have to go via Ethereum or Bitcoin Cash or any of these other things that they had to explore in order to overcome the technical hurdles. And this could be a real breakthrough Bitcoin business in the end. Again, it's up to the team. We can only help the team. The team still has to execute. The team still has to deliver. But we've been investing some resources to try and get them over the finish line because we're niche to the crypto industry, and we like to support the industry and see what we can do for our portfolio companies. Just going to take a quick water break before we go to the next one. Okay, the next and final story before we start going through your questions is we wanted to do a little bit of a reveal on a new video that we've created. Last week, for those of you that weren't there, we revealed our new video that we're going to be releasing for our secondary market once we come out of beta. But at the same time, we created a video for our BF wallet. So I'm just going to make that full screen now. If you can't see that, Famida will interrupt me and let me know. But here's a little sneak peek of a video that we want to be releasing for the BF wallet. As the securities token industry, just a little background on the BF wallet. It was originally designed in order to support those that want to hold BnkToTheFuture tokens and gain access to their memberships without having to release or lose custody of their BnkToTheFuture tokens. So if you connect your BnkToTheFuture wallet, the BF wallet, to your BnkToTheFuture.com account, then you can hold your BnkToTheFuture tokens, the BFT, on that wallet, self-custody, so that you own the private key and you don't need to transfer them over to us, and gain access to priority access deals, and then transfer tokens over as well if you want to get a 50% discount on any trading fees on the secondary market. and also receive those token rewards as we expand our reward program for those that contribute to due diligence and investor relations on BnkToTheFuture.com. But the other purpose of that, as well as being a wallet for the Bank to the Future token, is that we're using it as our experimental ground for security tokens. And we have integrated it with BnkToTheFuture.com. We did our first ever security token, which was lottery.com. And we used one of our portfolio companies to integrate with the wallet, which is Securitize. And also we've been doing some work with Blockstream on their liquid securities, so that tokens and security tokens can be launched both on Ethereum and Bitcoin. And we're really excited about bringing some of the first liquid Bitcoin security tokens to market as well. But we just wanted to create this little video to help people understand a little bit more about our goals with the BF wallet. So I'm just going to play it for you. It won't be the highest sound quality. It's just coming from my Mac. But we just wanted to give a bit of a reveal so you could give us some feedback on what you think.
Are you ready for what many are calling the coming security tokens bull market? The BF wallet for security tokens is finally here. Store all your security tokens in one place. Get ready to send, receive, and exchange your security tokens easily and in compliance with security laws. Built by the Bank to the Future team, the first crypto securities business serving the market since 2010. Download the wallet today on iOS and Android.
Okay, so we hope you like that. Again, that's not actually released at this stage, and I'm just going to move back over to me so you can see me speaking now. Hello. So the video is not actually released at this stage, like the secondary market one. We just wanted to give those that view live or watch the recording a sneak peek of what we're up to and what we're looking to do as the bull market rolls around. And what we got in store. We found that the BF wallet has been an interesting way for people to firstly find out about the Bank to the Future ecosystem, and it's connected to our platform. And more people are finding out about the Bank to the Future token and the perks by downloading that wallet on iOS and Androids. Please do check it out if you haven't got one already, and please connect it to your BnkToTheFuture.com account, complete your verification and certification, so that you can then be, you put some Bank to the Future tokens on the platform, get priority access to deals, 50% discounted trading fees, and also some of the new things that we'll be rolling out with Bank to the Future token rewards and perks. So I think that's everything I wanted to cover. Let me just check my show notes before we jump into the questions. So we covered the pitches live at the moment. We got AirTM coming soon, BTR, exchange. Ripple Labs is open exclusively to Bank to the Future token holders that want to get an access to the equity of the company via one of our special companies before it goes live on the secondary market. If you recently, so the way that it works is we would have already have mailed out to our priority access members. But if you deposit 10,000 Bank to the Future tokens on your account and you would like to get access to that, then just write a support ticket, go to the support link at the bottom of the website, and one of our team members will verify that you've actually deposited those 10,000 Bank to the Future tokens and send you out a link to any of those priority access deals. We've also got coming soon, keep an eye out. If you're a priority access member, you'll be emailed with the upcoming rounds we got, which is Kraken, Edge, Token Market, and our next Lightning Play bit refill. And we've also, also got Circle now. The Circle SPV just launched, fresh off the boat, and we gave an update on the Abra app, the new Loyal hire, some of the challenges that K.im has gone through and hopefully are going to be turning around. And also the fact that you can now trade ETFs and stocks using that Abra app. So the final topic that I wanted to go through is some announcements that we can now make with regards to our secondary market listing policies and how we're actually going to do this. Now, We've been thinking long and hard at the team about how we can actually bring different types of secondary market listings and do it in a responsible and reasonable way. And what we come up with is that we're going to be dividing, as we come out of beta, we're still in beta at the moment, so we're not actually marketing or promoting this. But as we come out of beta, we're going to be splitting all of the companies on Bank to the Future up into 3 categories. Those 3 categories will be companies that we consider completely underperforming. They don't feel like the team is actually succeeding. We do have failures at Bank to the Future. We do our best only to bring you deals by teams that are building what we consider to be good technology. But we don't always get it right, and there's so many things that can go wrong in business. At the end of the day, it's still high risk, high return investing. So we're going to be categorizing a bunch of companies into ones that we think are underperforming. And we don't want our secondary market to be a place where people that have invested in a high risk, high return deal can just dump an underperforming or company that's just not really getting where it should be. Dump that onto somebody that doesn't have access to as much information for you. So those will never be trading on our secondary market. But we are going to launch 2 different types of categories. The second one is that we are any company that's not fitting in that category of looking like it's failing and just not really performing. We're going to allow existing investors in that particular deal to place bid and offer, to place buy and sell orders and be able to trade with each other. Now, the reason that we're more comfortable doing that is because they have all been there from the beginning, and everyone of the investors has equal access to the same information, as opposed to having more information versus a new investor that comes in and may not have as much history or information. But what that does mean is that you will be able to place an offer once we launch this feature for any of the equity deals that aren't actually failing. We'll be, so what that will mean, the feature is not actually live right now, and it will be just open to existing investors. So if one of the investors in the round is bullish about the future, or maybe not even just bullish, just has access to deeper liquidity and can wait longer, then they will be able to buy those. And if anyone wants to sell theirs, maybe at a discount or at the price or at a premium, if the market's buoyant, then they can actually place an offer and get out if they choose. Maybe they need liquidity. Maybe they're less bullish about the prospects of the company. Many people have many different reasons for needing to do things. And then finally is the secondary market that we have right now, which is which is Bitfinex at the moment and Circle in beta, where they've reached the stage where they're an established company. And if they're an established company, then there's enough information out there whereby people can make more of an informed decision. And it's still, a very high risk, high return environment, but they're more established household brands, in which case we're then comfortable to open it up to new investors that might not have been a part of the original round, in order to actually create a marketplace. So the ultimate is we want all of our companies to become established brands and make it to the established brand secondary market. But in the meantime, if they are still giving good updates, they're still performing, then we can open up a market just between existing buyers and sellers. But if they're underperforming, they're not giving updates, and it looks like a failed deal, then we won't be allowing that to open up in the secondary. It's just a bad investment at that phase. And remember, the deal with private equity investing is to build a diversified portfolio of companies that you think are going to be building or part of the future of finance, in the case of Bank to the Future. And then diversify, because one of those companies, if you select wisely, could go out to become a unicorn. A few of them could perform fairly, but some of them will go bust over the years, because that's just the nature of how this is done. The other thing that we wanted to announce finally, before we actually go through our questions, is that we've recently made several expansions to the team, and we've been dedicated some additional resources in order to improving our roadmap communication. So one of the things that we have had feedback is we're excited about a lot of things that we're doing, within the Bank to the Future team. But we may not be necessarily communicating that well, and we may not be getting enough of your input in terms of what you'd like us to be focusing on. While you might think a feature is really, really important, and we might agree that it's really important, we still have limited resources and a limited team to be working with. We all stretch ourselves to the limits. Everybody's overworked and under-resourced, but we think that's part of the culture and ecosystem that we like to create here at Bank to the Future. And so we've expanded some additional resource. And so what we'd like is your feedback on exactly how you would like to see the new releases and the roadmap actually communicated. We've had some ideas internally, but if you've got any suggestions and input that you'd like to have on what you'd like to see next at Bank to the Future, then we want to hear from you, and we want to actually make more of an engaging process to actually be involved in our roadmap planning. And so we've put dedicated resources to achieving that goal, and we'll be making further announcements shortly. So that's everything I've got for you in terms of updates. Now we turn it over to you. And Famida has been going through the live chat. Please do use the live chat. Or maybe you're on social and you can tweet us or use Facebook. Or maybe you're in our Telegram group and you're one of our active community members in Telegram. Then give us your questions and we'll try to reel them off. And if we can't, we'll try and cover those next week. And I'm going to get through as many questions as I can in the time we have left. So Famida, do you want to take us with the first question?
Okie dokie. Bear with me. I have quite a few questions that have come through Telegram over the last week. So I think I'm going to go through just secondary market questions first. Okay, so I would like to see or ask Simon if there are plans to offer funds in the near future via BFT.
So via BFT, I'm assuming you mean BnkToTheFuture.com as opposed to our utility token, because the utility token, Bank to the Future token, is not a security and is not authorized in order to make any offerings. But BnkToTheFuture.com is a securities business where we mainly post equity deals, security tokens, and utility tokens sold via an investment contract. And we have done some funds in the past. We don't intend to do any more, but we have recently had several applications from very high profile venture capital funds that are looking to give an allocation to a Bank to the Future, a special company. At the moment, we haven't quite got a good structure for how to do that and ensure that the investor relations and communications are up to the standard that we would like to see. We have raised funds at BnkToTheFuture.com in the past for a few called Bitcoin Capital, and the communications needed to do that have been very time constraining and a challenge. So we didn't actually do any further ones. But if we can find a good process in order to actually have the communications done a lot better and the standard done to the standard we'd like to, then we're more than open to opening such opportunities. It does require a different regulatory structure, so there will be a different bit of legal work that we would need to do, because one of the challenges that we found in the cryptocurrency industry is that often someone can start as a venture capital fund, which is long-term investing, but then because these assets become liquid through things like tokens, they end up accidentally becoming a hedge fund, and hedge funds are actually regulated under a very different regime and are subject to different and tighter promotion and financial promotion rules. So therefore, there's a constant challenge in getting that balance right between venture capital and hedge fund as liquidity comes in. But you don't really need to know in those things. I guess the question is, if we feel that there's going to be sufficient demand for investing in funds rather than picking your own deals, then we're happy to allocate some time to investing in building out a product a little bit further. But for now, there's nothing on the roadmap in order to allow funds to raise finance through Bank to the Future or launch any funds on Bank to the Future.
Great, thanks for that. So I have another question here on the secondary market. Why can't I buy shares on the secondary market with Bitcoin? I don't have USDT, and it could cause a loss of increase in Bitcoin.
So at the moment, we're a big fans. We do not believe that Bitcoin is a medium of exchange at this point. I don't think people can think in terms of something being priced in Bitcoin yet. I think that's changing. As Lightning becomes bigger and bigger, then people are starting to think in terms of Satoshis. But most people find it hard to think in terms of this cost 0.016238785 Bitcoin. Most people still think in terms of fiat currencies, in terms of their thinking of how they price things. And therefore, we decided to use USD as the most common currency. And what we've also done is we announced last week that you'll be able to deposit up to 35 different fiat currencies using our banking partnership and integration, which can then be converted into USD. And they can be traded or they can be withdrawn either as USD or USDT, which is a cryptocurrency backed by US dollar. At the moment, we've got two options of how we go from here, and we'd love to hear your feedback in the comments or in Telegram. The two options we can go with is one, we can create a process whereby you can deposit Bitcoin and that can be converted into USDT in order to place an order through the platform, or we would have to launch two different markets for every company, one priced against USD and USDT, and another priced against Bitcoin. And then the risk of doing that is that you would risk moving the liquidity onto different order books. Now, that is an option, and that is what some of the crypto-to-crypto exchanges do. It's never been done for securities as far as I'm aware, so that would be the first time you'd be able to do that. But of course, we want to allow people to do things with Bitcoin as a big Bitcoin believer and evangelist, and a company that was set up really to support the Bitcoin ecosystem. But we're going to be doing it one or two of those ways, and we might integrate both and see which one works best. But the choices are that when you see Bitfinex, you will see two markets rather than one traded against BTC, another traded against USD using USDT and USD, or you will see a way of converting Bitcoin into USD so that you can place a trade. There's pros and cons to both of those, but we'd love to get your feedback on which one you'd like to see. We will be doing one or both in the future, no doubt about it.
All right, on to the next question now. I see Bank to the Future is buying into some projects. Is Bank to the Future buying on behalf of one of the Bitcoin capitals, 1, 2, or 3?
So if you ever see Bank to the Future as investor, that is Bank to the Future investing its own funds as a company. We do like to invest into things just like every other investor on our platform. We only tend to list things that we believe in and that we would personally or as a company would invest in. So sometimes we do that with our own funds. That does not mean that it is Bitcoin Capital 1, 2, 3, which are different funds that have listed on our platform in the past. If Bitcoin Capital ever makes an investment, then Bitcoin Capital will show as the investor because it's a different entity to Bank to the Future, the company. And there will also be a live update on the investor zone for the particular relevant investment. So every company on Bank to the Future has its own company page, which lists details about the company. It also has a discussion forum. And on that discussion forum, it is open to any investor to discuss that deal. And then there is also an investor zone. And in the investor zone, that is a forum just for investors to communicate with the project owners and also communicate with other investors. If Bitcoin Capital makes an investment, then it would happen to make an announcement on the Bitcoin Capital investor zone, as with all other deals.
Okay, so I have one question here. It's about referral program. Will there be a referral program to refer clients users to Bank to the Future?
So we've experimented with referral programs in the past, and while we're completely happy with the essence of what a referral scheme does, that we share some of the money that we would make if you refer a deal, we found in execution it's a lot harder than that. The reason being is because many of the scams in cryptocurrencies are actually, and not saying that these are scams, but when there are scams, they tend to have referral schemes. And then the legitimate projects also have referral schemes. But then the way that people start promoting their referral links is in a very scammy way, and it feels like a scammy way because they're trying to maximize their referral income. And then you end up accidentally maybe breaching a security law, which looks like it was Bank to the Future doing it, but it was actually one of our partners or affiliates. And then that also gets into securities laws where we have to vet all of our potential affiliate partners, and they have to have the correct licenses and registrations in order to promote investments. And so we came to the conclusion that the referral scheme is not something that we are comfortable doing because it would put our business at significant risk by a few bad actors or even completely good actors that just are not familiar with some of the rules and regulations around promoting financial products and marketing financial products. And we really don't want to put ourselves at risk and end up, and people promote it to the wrong people. They bring in the wrong type of investor that doesn't understand the risks. And that's just bad news for everyone all around, all because we were trying, and then we looked like we were accomplice to that because we were paying them a referral scheme. But one thing we are very happy to do is use the Bank to the Future token to incentivize and reward certain behaviors under a controlled environment. And we're actively exploring how we can use the Bank to the Future token rewards pool in order to incentivize certain behaviors, but without directly having a referral scheme that could lead to really big problems for us as a company, and also bringing in the wrong types of people. We just really, we're very careful about the type of investors and clients that we deal with. We really don't want to bring the wrong people in just because we incentivized through referral schemes.
Okay, so the next question is, will there be any new pitches that are available to US investors, as there haven't been for months?
There have been for months. So I believe Phase is currently open to US investors. So our policy on this is that if a deal wants to be open to US investors, then they either have to be, and I don't want to go too geeky into the securities laws, but I'll give you the basic overview because the question was asked. They're either 506C pitches, which means that they can be promoted to everybody, but everyone has to certify as an accredited investor, or they can be what's called 506D, where they can't be promoted outside the platform and they can only be introduced to investors that we have relationships with that are self-certified as accredited investors. And we have the capabilities and ability to do it. And all investors will onboard through our local SEC FINRA registered broker-dealer, which means that they have to sign off on the pitch, and there's an additional things that need to happen before it can open up to US investors. So what sometimes happens is that a company that pitches on our platform either does not want to have anything to do with the SEC, FINRA, or US customers because of the additional processes. And so they elect to just not open to US investors, or the process of going through all the due diligence needed to get it signed off by our US broker dealer takes longer than the company has, and they're oversubscribed. They want to close their round, and therefore we have to restrict US investors in order to get it out in a timely fashion. And so that can happen, and it does happen with approximately 50% of the companies on the platform. That does not mean wherever we can, we try and get it where we can open it up to US investors. But unfortunately, in order to follow the compliance in the US, it means that sometimes deals won't be open. The other thing is we are not fully signed off on our secondary market for US investors at this stage. And therefore, at the moment, the secondary market where a lot of our deals are getting ready for the secondary market. They're not open to US investors at this stage, but we do plan on making that open to US investors at some stage once we've completed all the necessary legal work and registrations and everything that needs to happen to open that opportunity. And that is something we have a team dedicated that are looking to explore those opportunities right now. But that's the answer. We will open it up to the US whenever we can. But unfortunately, circumstance means that it can't be open all the time, or the company just simply doesn't want to because of the additional requirements.
All right. So the next question comes from the live chat in YouTube. Could there be a more formal relationship with the Blockstream team over the next year or two?
That would be a question for Blockstream. I don't know what you mean by formal relationship. If you're referring to a partnership between Bank to the Future and Blockstream, then we do have a good relationship. And one of the other things that we're looking to do that comes with improving our communication team is actually, we do a lot of stuff, but we never actually tell the press or media. But now we are in a place where we would like to do that. We can increase resources to doing that. So whenever we're doing something interesting, then we'd like to make sure that more people find out about that as we've improved our communications, the resources of our communications team. And also making things more formal around some of the partnerships and relationships that we built, because we've got some incredible ones, but we often don't communicate that. We're very much an execution business. We get on with business. It's why we've been around so long. But we do recognize, especially with more and more people wanting to find out more about the Bank to the Future token, that we need to improve our efforts to communicate with people and let people know some of the things and be a bit more transparent about some of the things we're doing rather than always behind closed doors.
Another one from the live chat. Can you comment on the success of coin payments, which is now valued at 200 million?
Yeah, coin payments has been a steady, it's a really interesting story. Coin payments came to us when I believe it was around 2014. Before any of this was just after the Mt. Gox fiasco and bear market, and they were in the depths of the bear market. No venture capitalist was touching our industry. We were still believers, of course, and they did a small funding round through BnkToTheFuture.com. They were valued at about $6.5 million at the time. And really, there was just no interest in investing in the industry. A group of our investors through the platform put that funding, contributed to that funding round, syndicated. And what was really interesting is that most of their funding came in Bitcoin, and they kept the Bitcoin. And so they never had to do another funding round. And they caught the bottom of the market and rode it all the way to the top of the market. So that means that initial small funding round stretched them really, really far. And not only that, but they got incredible traction. They started to get some real high profile clients. They do a lot of volume. We use them at BnkToTheFuture.com for our altcoin payments. They're a payment processor that has lots of different, I think over 1,000 different coins that merchants can use. And they also allow us for the Bank to the Future token to be used by all of the merchants that they use. They got some controversial ones, but they're getting a lot of volume. And they were recently valued at 200 billion by the professional investor in the payments industry that took a large chunk of that funding round. And we're really excited about staying up to date with the coin payments team and watching them go through the next phase of growth. They recently closed another funding round at a $200 million valuation. So the early seed investors got from $6.5 million valuation to $200 million valuation on paper as a result of their Series A. And we look forward to seeing where they go from here.
All right, I think this one is going to be our final question, as we have 5 more minutes left on the clock. And it's about BFT. So this person says, I'm trying to keep the number of exchange accounts to a minimum and would like to purchase BFT coins. which is the best exchange to get these tokens from? And will Bank to the Future wallet allow Bitcoin to be converted to BFT?
Okay, so the way to find out which exchanges allow you to buy Bank to the Future tokens is to go to coinmarketcap.com and type in the search field BFT. And when you click on the markets tab, it will list all the different trading pairs and exchanges which are allowing for trading of Bank to the Future tokens. Just off memory, there is Huobi, Bitfinex, Etfinex, Gate.io, Huobi Korea, DragonX, I believe, and Upbit and Bittrex. And so from all those exchanges, I understand and appreciate that you may not be signed up to those and you only want to be signed up to one exchange. But at this stage, it's up to those exchanges whether they want to trade and allow people to buy and sell Bank to the Future tokens. And so if it's not one of those exchanges, then you would have to sign up to one of those exchanges. At this stage, at the moment, the Huobi Global is the most liquid exchange, I think, for buying and selling Bank to the Future tokens. And yeah, if other exchanges would like to list Bank to the Future tokens, then we fully that would be great. We'll look to support them in that process. But it's still up to the exchanges what they want to list. And what else can I say about that? Will we actually allow people to buy Bank to the Future tokens through BnkToTheFuture.com? Well, there's a couple of things we've been looking to do. Firstly, we've been looking at services like some of our portfolio companies like Shapeshift that allow for the very fast integration and change between different cryptocurrencies. And there's other services like Changely. And we'd look to get on one of those so that we can then allow for the very fast switching between tokens. And I think we can make a much easier way for people to actually gain access to Bank to the Future tokens. But one of the things we definitely don't want to do is we don't want to become an exchange ourselves. We have no plans on becoming a cryptocurrency exchange. Those tokens were initially sold through a token sale. And if you weren't involved in that token sale, then you'd have to go to one of the supported exchanges. And hopefully more and more exchanges will look to support that as we increase the ecosystem of the utility of what you can do with Bank to the Future tokens. We currently have priority access deals. As our secondary market gets out into beta, 65% of all trades on the Bank to the Future secondary market use Bank to the Future tokens to pay their trading fees and get a 50% discount on those. As we come out of beta, we estimate that the demand for getting a 50% discount on trading fees should increase. And if it does increase as we do more and more trades, then hopefully more and more exchanges will want to list Bank to the Future tokens in order to fulfill some of those demands. And so that's currently our existing way of thinking. And we're focused on executing the roadmap so that the Bank to the Future token becomes more and more useful to more and more people.
That's it, Simon. I think we're done for the day. We're just at 1 minute below 4 p.m.
Excellent. Okay, so hopefully there were very little technical issues. Hopefully the internet bared up, as I said. In the next few weeks, we're going to be strengthening the internet. We're getting a dedicated internet connection and satellite put on the side of the building. We're also building out a studio, so rather than being in the kitchen, that we'll have a much more business-friendly environment. That's going to take a while to come. But also when I'm traveling at different conferences, I'll try and take you around the world like I did in other episodes at the Hong Kong conferences. And we've got one coming up in the end of May in Malta. I'll be at the Blockchain and AI conference discussing investing in crypto equity, I believe, and on several panels. Remember, please, if you like this video, please do hit that like button. Please do share this video. Please do subscribe to our channel. Please do add any comments. We'll take those in next week's episode of Bank to the Future Live. And if you subscribe, remember to hit that bell button so you receive a notification from YouTube every time you watch this. And if you're watching the recording, then we welcome you to watch further recordings or join us live next time so that we can actually take your questions either on Telegram or on the live chat. And we'll be here at the very same time next week. And that's going to do it for episode 11 of Bank to the Future Live. Thank you.